Sahana bhavatu Sahano bhunaktu Sah Viryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Shanti Shanti Shanti.
As I was walking around and looking at people, looking into their eyes, their faces, I remembered that how we were students and Bhagavan would be going around giving darshan and we would be waiting for one glance from the corner of his eyes that would make one's day. But not every day that would happen. There were days when it would happen, there were days you're sitting far behind, it won't happen. So it was a part of life. So one day was a very exciting, the other day was a little depressing because all our joy was dependent on an outcome. And the outcome was that whether Bhagavan has given his attention to us or looked at us or blessed us or had spoken to us, something like that. So I was going around, I was thinking that how our mind is, even if God comes in front of us, we can become sad. Why? Because we are not happy that we saw God. Our problem is God did not see us. The amount of body consciousness and doership is what I'm talking about. You don't go there, sit there saying, anyway, I'm lucky, I had the darshan. No, he did not have my darshan. I've been sitting here for so long. Even in a happy thing, we can make ourselves sad. We can find a reason to be sad even when there is none. Mind is like that. The moment you attach yourself to the body, misery and joys are the outcomes. Either of them will come to you. One day it will be a joyful outcome, other day it will be a miserable outcome. Why? Because we are established with the idea of this body. I am sitting here and I should be seen by Swami. I am sitting here, I should have got Swami's attention. I am sitting here, I should have been spoken to by Swami. So that is how mind and body, control our emotions. The other option is what? You come to darshan, you sit there quietly in a corner, and you are just happy that you could see Swami. It's no more important that Swami saw you. If he needs to see you, he will see you. Anyway, he knows. Otherwise, also, it is just okay because at least I was in the same hall, sitting in the same place, and at least I had darshan. So, to that extent, when your attachment comes down on the what is the action? Action is that you came to the hall, and what is the outcome that you expect? That not you should see Swami, but Swami should see you. Then you are miserable. Why? Because it won't happen every day. It's not possible. With thousands of people sitting in one place, it's not possible to happen. So what is the other way? You think that I'm sitting here, I am getting to see here and experience the presence of Swami. That is good enough a joy for me. Whether I'm sitting in the first row or in the last row, I'm getting to do that. I've seen a lot of people, they come, they don't get the first row in darshan, they don't get closer to the carpet, and the whole day they're miserable. And they will imagine, their mind will get into negative thinking. Swami doesn't love me, he doesn't care for me, I'm no good, nobody likes me. Some kind of a negativity. And I feel very bad. I feel that why should you get into that negativity at all? When there is no reason for one. But this is your ego only in some way. Ego of being a devotee or a student or somebody in your life who needs that kind of attention or that kind of expectations. So in a happy day also you can become sad if you come with wrong ideas and desires. Idea should be I am there, that is good enough. At least I am sitting here. There is a story of Hanuman, how he learnt. He was a very naughty child, as you know. He went and gobbled the sun, they say. And he would trouble the rishis and things like that. So as somebody said, he need to be put into school because he is just free and he's just loitering around and making mischief. So they wanted to get him admitted. And like all the schools in those days, they were run by rishis and everything was full. There was no seat available. So they did not know where to put Hanuman, how to get him admitted to any school. So they only found one school which was Lord's son, Surya. So Lord Sun was teaching. And Hanuman thought that is the best school I can go to, so he wanted to go to that school. But Sun's chariot is small and only so many can fit, it seems, and Sun would be traveling all around. That is the imagination, right? Our mythology says. So imagine that Surya or Sun God's chariot is small, there are few students there, there is no place for Hanuman. So when Hanuman goes and requests Sun God, and says, please give me admission into your school, Sun God says, there is no place, admissions are over, seats are full, I cannot teach you. Then Hanuman says, I do not mind not sitting inside the class. Just allow me to be outside the class so that I can hear what you're saying and I can still learn. And you are the best teacher because you travel the whole world, you go everywhere, you know everything. Or no other teacher has the privilege of going everywhere. Like I travel around the world, I know so much about the world. If you want to know about what world cultures are like, you can ask me. Because I've gone to so many places and met so many people, I understand so many cultures. And you are witnessing that every day. All these cultures are presented. But I know all of them because I've gone there, I've met them, I've spoken to them. So likewise, Sun God is everywhere. So Hanuman convinces Sun God. Looking at Hanuman's sincerity to learn, Sun God says, all right, I cannot give you a place inside the chariot, but you can be somehow hanging outside. So Hanuman hangs to the chariot with one hand and travels with Sun everywhere, wherever the chariot goes, and learns all the knowledge from the Sun God. Look at his sincerity to learn. He did not even get a place inside the chariot because there was no place. He said, I will hang outside, I will hold on to the chariot and fly around like you do, just to listen to what you're saying so that I can learn from you. Somebody who really wants to learn can do it in any ways. There are no excuses. I don't have a study table, the lamp is not there, then it is too hot, too cold, my books are not nice, my pen is not working. All kinds of stories if you do not want to study. But if you want to study, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. For a Shraddhavan, the one who wants to learn, anywhere it is okay. You sit in the front of the hall, back of the hall, doesn't matter. You watch it online, you watch it offline, doesn't matter. Because there is so much Shraddha to learn, which is what will help you to gain knowledge. Guru alone cannot do it. Guru is only one part of the equation. The other part is Shishya. And sincerity of the Shishya is so important for the knowledge to happen. It can't be one-sided affair. It has to be a joint effort. It is a partnership. Education. That's why Sahana Bhavatu. Let us both be protected. Let us both work together. Sahaviryam Karva Vahi. Let us both work hard. Not one without the other. This is the idea why guru-shisha come together to learn. And very beautifully in Taittiriya Upanishad it says about the relationship between Guru and Shishya. Acharya Purva Rupam, Ante Vasina Uttara Rupam, Vidya Sandhihi, Pravachanagum Sandhanam. It means how they are connected. Guru comes first, Shishya Ante Vasi means the one who is living inside the residential system of Gurukula, he is the second. And the connection between the two is Vidya. Why they are connected? What is the relation between the two? Education or knowledge is the relation. And how is this relation fulfilled? Through pravachana, through lectures, through speech of the Guru. This is the relation between the Guru and the Shishya. So that is the idea that when two of them come together, there has to be a relationship, and the relationship is of knowledge and it is expressed through lecturing or passing on the knowledge from the Guru to Shishya. But both have to be equally capable. That's why Yama Dharmaraja becomes so happy when he meets Nachiketa. He says it's a joy to have a disciple like you, he tells Nachiketa. But he doesn't start teaching him till he tests him thoroughly. Whole first chapter is testing Nachiketa. Second chapter he says, finally, I am satisfied that you are really sincere and you deserve this knowledge. And he calls him by a name, Satyavratasi. You are established in that. So you have to be established in the idea that I have to learn, come what may. Whether I have to hang outside Premamritam Hall or inside, I will be in front row or the last row, next to carpet or somewhere behind. The physical distance is not going to make a big difference. It is your mental distance with the Guru that makes the difference. How close you are to your Guru in your mind is all that matters. So in spirituality, not in everything. Like in the sports field, you have to have a Guru next to you teaching you the tricks. Or in the surgery, you have to have a Guru next to you. But in spirituality, Guru can teach you even through your mind also. So minds have to be closed. Your mind should be focused on what Guru is trying to teach. That is most important. To keep remembering that, reminding yourself. Because the whole problem is kartatva bhava, doership. Because we have a body, we have a mind, and so we believe we are the doers. Like he said, so many of these bodily functions happen on their own. They don't happen because we want it to happen. They happen on their own. A lot of physiological functions happen. We cannot control them. We can't control anything actually after some time you realize. Everything is happening and you are just using whatever is happening. On that you are building whatever you can. But things are already given by God or nature, whichever way you put it. And that is the idea of Ashtavakra, that don't you try to take credit for all that is being done through you. You are just a witness, you are not really the doer. That is the idea you should establish in. Children sit in father's lap and they drive the car. And everybody who sees, they clap, saying, oh, you're driving the car so well. And the child really thinks I'm driving the car. Gets very proud and excited. Father also plays along. But people who have grown up, they know that he is not driving the car. He's just holding on to the steering, but father is the one who is controlling the car. Like that, there is a greater divine principle that is running through all of us, which we saw yesterday. Like the electricity, which is same in all the bulbs, is not even my God and your God. That also is a confusing idea. It is not about my Jiva Prajna and your Jiva Prajna, or my Atman and your Atman. This itself is a wrong idea, it says. It is a continuous flow of that awareness in all of us. We are all floating in the sea of consciousness. We are connected that way. We are not disconnected. We are waves. Consciousness is the sea. So waves have their individual existence, but not without the underlying principle of water, of the ocean. So one wave may say, I am different from you. But at the end, they are all same. They are all the same water which is floating around. Sometimes they are up, sometimes down. Next chapter, he'll explain this idea of ocean and the waves. So think like that. One electricity in all the bulbs. One ocean in all the waves. Like that, one prana or one consciousness in all our existence. This is the ultimate truth, which is what Ashtavakra has already told. This is the so to call the secret, which is already out. Because he is not wasting time. He is straight away hitting on the nail and he straight away says this is what it is. And a beautiful shloka comes from, I think it comes from Kathopanishad again. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam na yama vidyuto bhati kutoyam agnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. It's a shloka from Kathopanishad. Such a beautiful shloka. One day I had gone to Nandi temple. The priests were chanting this shloka. I just closed my eyes. It was Shivratri. They had invited me. They were chanting many shlokas, but while they were doing the Abhishekam, they just chanting the shloka. I did nothing. I was just standing there. There was so much crowd. I just closed my eyes and meditated on this shloka, and I had such beautiful, blissful experience because the shloka is so powerful. It says, Na tatra suryo bhati. There. Again, it's a poetic thing. There means it's not some place. In the ultimate truth, what happens? Na tatra suryo bhati. There the sun does not shine. How do we see things? We see through light. Which light? Sun's light, let us say. Na tatra suryo bhati. There is no sun over there. Na chandra tarakam. Moon and stars are also not there. It means there is no light, either day or night. No light, chandra tarakam. Nayama vidyuto bhati says this lightning that happens. Okay, no sun, no moon, no star. But lightning can also give us some light, some illumination. Even that does not exist. And kutoyam agni. If these don't exist, where is the question of ordinary fire that lights up things and gives us light? That also does not exist. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Tasya bhasa sarvavidhamati. As that one shines, that one, tam, that one shines, anubhati, so everything shines like it. Tasya bhasa sarvam vidhamati. When it shines, everything else shines. It's a poetry. Generally, we have to see things, means we need a source of light. Sun, moon, star, lightning or fire. Without that, even if things are there, we can't see. Can we? We can't. But in our spirituality, it says, what makes us see, not the physical eyes see as the awareness, consciousness, which makes us experience everything. That is the reason why we experience everything, why we see everything. And how do we experience everything? In its light. In its light we experience as it is, so everything is. In a red light, everything will look reddish. In a green light, everything will look greenish. In stage, we have put some color lights, right? So when the artists are performing, they're putting different color lights. Suddenly, artists look green, blue, yellow. Because the source of light is yellow, so artist is looking like yellow. Likewise, the source of all knowledge is Atman, the self, the consciousness. So the one who sees everything in the light of consciousness sees everything as consciousness only. In yellow light, everything looks yellow. So the one who has established himself in that idea of consciousness, that I am awareness, sees everything as extension of that consciousness only. As I again said, if you go to a sea, the children will see the waves. Maybe a geography person or somebody who nature level will see the ocean. But a jnani will see water. He will neither see the wave nor he will see the ocean. He will see the water. Water is the reason why there is wave and there is the ocean. Likewise, others will say, oh, he's so intelligent. Somebody will say he's such a fool. Somebody says he's so nice, such a person is so rude. But a jnani will say, beyond this rudeness and niceness and good and bad, there is this consciousness which is there, which is what I see. Yeah, pashyati, sa pashyati, Krishna says. The one who sees this alone sees, all others are blind. Because we only see the body and we don't see what is going on behind it. But the jnani sees that. So this person is saying, if you see that, ekam, the one who is seeing is only one, there are no two. This is what he told in the last shloka, ekam drishtaram, only one. And once you realize that, then you realize everything is, why is the wave even dancing on the ocean? Or why is even ocean there in the first place? Because there is water. Likewise, you are not the doer. Waves are not the doer, nor the ocean is the doer. It's the water which is the real doer. Without water, neither the wave nor the ocean would exist. So that is the idea that we all are consciousness and our bodies, our minds are like ocean and waves. They look different, but they are the same water. But unfortunately, we are focusing on the wave and not the water. We are focusing on the ocean and not the water. So we see what we see, that's it. We don't see the entire truth. So consciousness is the reason why we see everything, is what our Upanishads say. And when you realize that this consciousness is the reason for everything, you can't claim doership. You can't claim doership because it is happening. You are not making it happen. You're not. It appears that you are doing it. Why? Because your body is at work, your mind is at work. So you feel mind and body is making happen. Like the wave may think I am making myself happen, or the ocean will think I am putting out waves one after the other. But the Jnani will say, no, both of you are right and also wrong. Right because yes, apparently you seem to be doing the things, but wrong because without water, none of you would have existed. Likewise, the consciousness is the reason why our mind is functioning, our bodies are functioning, but it gets tainted. Consciousness is pure. But both good and bad don't exist in consciousness. See, this also is a confusion. Many people think if you're operating from consciousness, you are a good person. But the idea of dharma, adharma, sukha, dukkha, all this is in the mind, it says. Consciousness is free like electricity. If it passes through a hot heater and causes heat around the place, that is not electricity's problem. Or if it passes through a cooler and creates cool breeze, it's not electricity's problem. Somebody may like cool breeze and say, how nice this cool breeze is thanks to the electricity. Electricity says, no mention, I don't need it. And somebody says, oh, so hot it is, the heater is so hot. Says, I don't care, electricity doesn't care. It is not electricity's job to make it hot or cold. But electricity interacting with whatever the mechanism of the device makes it hot or cold, like the air conditioning. And then we experience the breeze or cold or hot air. So electricity is untouched. It is neither good nor bad. That all is in our mind, he says. Mind is the device like the air conditioner through which everything is passing. Our minds are habituated to doing good things or doing bad things. So we are just using the power of our consciousness is getting used up to do wrong or right things. Consciousness by itself is not wanting to do anything. It is steady. It is only a witness of whatever the mind is up to. So the idea of kartaham comes from that point of view, that I am not the doer because consciousness is not the doer. It is like the electricity which is available, but it is used up by the mind and body based on their old habits. And when we start thinking and establishing ourselves in the body, then we are like bitten by the snake because, it is like a poison. It will destroy us. And then all the happiness, sadness, everything starts happening. So the antidote, as he said, is I am not the doer. But you will say, how can it not be? Suppose you are working in the organization. Somebody asks something. Will you do this? He said, I am not the doer. That is not the answer. This is supposed to be your understanding deep within. But on the surface, you have to be the wave still. You have to still, your body must act, mind must act and do its very best. But deep down, no ego accumulates inside. Because there is no idea that I am the reason why it's happening. Yes, wave is happening, but ocean is not the reason, water is the reason. Likewise, mind is thinking, body is working, but the reason for both is the consciousness which is energizing both of these. Without that, we cannot function. I'll go with that to the next sloka, which is 1.9. So far, we have been only talking about karma or karma siddhanta, doership or enjoyership, and whatever the good and bad dharma comes out of it, and sukha dukkha that comes out of it, the happiness or sorrow because of doing and enjoying. Those shlokas, till 8 shlokas, he has explained like that. Largely about you are not the body, mind, and the doing of it and the enjoying of it. Now he's explaining the nature of the self. And he says, Eko Vishiddha Bodhoham iti Nischaya Vahnina Prajvalya Jnana Gahanam Vita Shokaha Sukhi Bhava. Which means, Eko, the one without the second. Vishuddha Bodha. Pure. Vishuddha means absolutely pure. Shuddha means pure. Vishuddha means absolutely pure. There is no blemish at all. Bodha, awareness. Aham, iti. That is what I am. Nishchaya Vahanina. Nishchaya means with firm conviction. Vahani means fire. So he's compared that conviction that I am that one pure awareness and nothing else, not anything else. This conviction is like a fire burning in me. And what does this fire do? Prajvalya Ajnana Gahanam. It burns away all the dense darkness. You are in a dark forest, can't see a thing. You light fire, it burns up all the forest and all the darkness, clears your way. Like that, this conviction that I am that one pure self which is fully aware, that will burn away all the ignorance. When you light a lamp, what you are essentially doing? You're burning away the ignorance around, right? Likewise, this conviction itself will burn away all the ignorance of you associating yourself with body, mind, or any other way. And then what happens? Vita shokaha, you give up sorrow. Whole life is about sukha prapti, dukha nivritti. We want to attain happiness and avoid sorrows. So how do you avoid sorrow? Vita shoka, by burning away the ignorance through the fire of conviction that I am that. And how are you convinced? Bodha, you have the experience of it. You're not talking theoretically. Theoretically, you will not. Suppose you paint a fire on a paper. Will it create light? Real fire only will create. Burn the paper, then there is real fire. Likewise, knowing theoretically, I am the self is not going to lead us anywhere. Experience of that is what is going to be the burning fire which will burn away the darkness. And then what happens? Vita shoka, your sorrows are destroyed. And sukhi bhava, give up all the sorrow and be happy. Be happy continuously. Says for last few times I've given lectures on be happy, and I told it is not a blessing, it is a command. So when Ashtavakra is telling what sukhi bhava, he's not telling that be happy, he's telling how to be happy. That's exactly what I was telling in a few discourses before. When I come around and people ask something, I said, okay, do this, be happy. They say, oh, Swami has said be happy, now it has come from his lips, now I will always be happy. But the next moment they are miserable for something or the other. So what is Swami's words wrong or is your behavior wrong? Because you did not, be happy was a command in the first place. It was not a blessing. It was an instruction. Be happy means now find ways to be happy. Find ways to be happy. And that's what Ashtra says. The way to be happy is become convinced with experience that you are the self which is pure, unblemished, fully aware. And in that fire of that conviction, burn away all the ignorance, the darkness. Get rid of your sorrow and be happy. So all this is the process to be happy. That is the idea. So this is the beauty. And how this consciousness is Vishuddha. It is only one. Just now we learned that it is one electricity, one sun, one consciousness which does everything. Even though oceans are many, we call it different types of Pacific Ocean or Atlantic Ocean or Indian Ocean, but they're all the same water. We have put boundaries or whichever way. But water is the same. Same water gets evaporated, comes back as clouds and rains. Now Pacific water only doesn't become Pacific clouds and rain back on Pacific Ocean. It flows everywhere. It flows onto the mountains, then becomes rivers, then go to the ocean again. So this idea of division is very limited thinking. It's because of our body-mind issue that we divide everything, us versus them. But the moment you establish consciousness, they say only one exists without the second. That is Advaita philosophy, right? Advaita means no two, only one. So you realize that over a period of time when you are practicing all that Ashtavakra is saying, starting from Vishayan Vishavatyaja, give up worldly pleasures like you will give up poison. Shama Arjava Daya Tosha Satyam Pivushavat Bhaja. Practice these 5 good qualities. It begins from there. Now you can't just not practice all that and suddenly come and say, why am I not happy? Why am I not experiencing all the consciousness as oneness? You didn't practice all those things. First you practice and come. That is what Ashtavakra would say. If you say, I'm not realizing, practice first, he'll say. So coming back to this, he says, once the wisdom dawns in you, which is only one and not the other, second, and Vishuddha, it is pure, it is unblemished. Like yesterday said, sunlight falls on garbage or it falls on a temple. Sunlight is not affected by either of it. It does not become dirty because it has fallen on a garbage. Does not become pure because it's fallen on a temple. So also fire. It burns everything. Throw good things in it like we do it in Yajna, or throw a corpse in it, it will burn that too. It has no problem, it just does its job. Electricity I mentioned, whether you want it to heat or cool, both it will do without any problem. But it is not touched by any of these things. Space is not touched. All the elements are free because they are the purest, they are closest to the nature, closest to God. From God comes nature, from nature comes human. The elements you watch, all the elements are free. Tell me one element which has a problem with somebody. Space has no problem. Space is everywhere. You build 4 walls, try to call it a name, it is okay. Break the walls, it's okay. Air is like that. As I mentioned yesterday, we are all breathing the same air. It has no problem. No, I do not want to be breathed by such and such person. I don't like that person. I won't go inside her lungs, his lungs. No problem for air. It's gone into the lungs of a criminal just now, and now the judge is breathing the same air in the same court. Air has no problem. It didn't become a criminal or a judge because of passing through their lungs. Look at fire. Just now I mentioned, you put Agni Hotra, you do, put all nice things, ghee and other dravyas, it is happy. It does burns everything. You put a corpse in it, or burn the garbage, it burns that also equally. It has no problem. Look at water, the rivers. No problem. Who drinks from that river? Good sinners drink or saints drink? It doesn't ask any question, it just flows. So also earth, it shelters everybody. It's for all. It does not have discrimination because these are all closest to Godhood. Because from God or the Supreme Self emerged all the Tasmat Dvaya, Tasmat Akashat Sambhuta, Akashat Vayo, Vayo Ragni, Agni Rapa, like that. So the moment we start going back in the hierarchy or in the ladder is from Supreme Self came the space, came the air, fire, water, earth, vegetation, food, man. Now if you want to go back to God, climb back the ladder. From man, get into your experience of the oneness with the elements. From there you rise further and experience the Supreme Self. That's why rishis will all run to forests or very beautiful natural places. Why? Because they feel more close to God in those places. It's a natural phenomenon. You also go to any nice place. Now I don't know children enjoy that, but when we were children, we would love to go to the river, go to the sea, go to the mountains, climb trees, or play with animals. Spontaneously we would enjoy that. Even here I see sometimes kids are there. Leave them, they'll run. They're everywhere, they're running mad because there's so much of space that they're enjoying. In their homes in the Bangalore and Bombay, they're all constrained. They just run madly because they're enjoying the space. They want to go and play in the rivers because they enjoy water. That's again an element. Like that, we were close to nature, we were close to God earlier. The moment we built all these buildings around ourselves and urbanized ourselves, we became farther from God. Because these are all artificial. But that is the reason why our campuses are put in very natural places. Because children can feel that closeness to God. They can feel closeness to nature. Somebody asked Bhagwan, why is it that I feel so happy when I see you? And he replied, do you feel happy when you go and see a vast ocean? He says, yes. Do you feel happy when there is warm fire in a cold night? Yes. Do you feel happy when it rains? He says, yes. Do you feel happy when you see mountains and clouds? He says, yes. You know why you feel happy? Because all this is you. You feel happy seeing me because I am you. You are seeing yourself when you see me. You don't realize it, but in some way you are experiencing yourself. And we are experiencing ourselves in the nature too. So that is the reason why we feel happy. When we see a guru, a jnani with wisdom, we feel happy in their presence because somewhere we are also a jnani deep down under. But we don't realize that. But in that jnani's presence, that joy of consciousness suddenly comes up, which is suppressed under the layers and layers of body, mind, body, mind. It gets ignited. Like a magnet magnetizes a piece of iron. Iron also was a magnet in the first place. It didn't know. But the moment it comes in touch with the magnet, suddenly gets magnetized and now iron is asking the magnet, how come I'm magnetized when I'm with you? I'm not a magnet after all. Then the piece of a magnet would tell to the piece of iron, you know what? You are actually a magnet in making. You have magnetism in you. It's just that it is not yet expressing itself. Why? Because you are all disoriented. But in my presence, all orientation happens. You also behave like a magnet. And if you stay long enough in my presence, you will become fully magnetized. Then you will never become an iron again. You'll always remain a magnet. So all of us have the same property of divinity, just that it doesn't express because we are all, our mind and body, stains it. It does not allow us to express. In the presence of a guru or somebody who is knowledgeable or in the presence of nature, our good godly feelings become enhanced. Like a piece of iron starts behaving like a magnet. So that is the idea why we go to nature or gurus or jnanis. Because our good things, that deep hidden latent divinity starts expressing itself very fast. And we feel good. And we can't say why we felt good. Many times we can't say why we felt good. We just feel good sitting by a river or under a tree or near a mountain. We just feel good. None of us know why we feel good. Most of these Bangaloreans are coming and climbing these Nandi hills every Saturday, Sunday. But you see, all those bikers are here. Every afternoon, Saturday, they are here. Why they are coming here? What are they experiencing? They'll say, no, a nice big bike ride. No, they're experiencing freedom of space. Where when you move, you feel free. When you're sitting, you feel stagnant. They're experiencing space, they're experiencing movement. The wind blows into their face, they experience the nature. When they climb up the hill, they experience space, experience sky, experience clouds, they feel. So they think that it is some adventure that they are enjoying, but deep down, what is they truly enjoying? Their connection with the nature and the divinity is what they're enjoying. When it's re-established, they feel good because they're being themselves. When are you happy? When you are yourself. As I said yesterday, a housewife might have to wake up early, cook for the child, clean the house, send the husband office, and do every other chores. And after that, she herself takes a book, relaxes on a chair, and reads to herself. She's herself. She's the happiest. Because this time she's not being somebody's mother, somebody's wife, somebody. She's just being herself. So when we come in touch with nature and Guru or God, we feel ourselves, our true nature of consciousness and awareness. That is why we feel happy in their presence. That conviction should happen in us. And how to get that conviction? It is a chicken and egg story. Which came first? You give me the faith by giving me experience. I say, no, you develop faith, then you'll experience. So experience comes first or faith comes first is the question. Most of the people say, if you give me a little experience, then I will know what it is like, and then I will go after it. But I say, no, first you develop faith. It's like, wanting to learn how to swim without having ever stepped into a river or a swimming pool. You don't want to wet your feet, but you want to learn swimming. How is it possible? So I always tell, Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhyavadharana. We'll put faith in the words of Shastras and Gurus. That is the first step in spirituality. That is the first step. And that faith will bring you experience. So he's saying, Nishchay Vahinina, develop that conviction that you are that self and not the body and the mind. Develop that conviction continuously. Tell I na kartasi, na bhoktasi, mukta evasi sarvad. Keep repeating to yourself, I am not the doer, I am not the enjoyer, I am ever free, ever free. Keep repeating to yourself and develop strong conviction in it. Experience will follow. It's also one of my favorite shlokas because it has got a beautiful analogy. It says, Yatra Vishwam idam bhati kalpitam rajju sarpavat ananda paramanandaha sa bodhastvam sukham chara. It says, where here in this place where we live in this earth, what is happening? Vishwam idam, the entire world, appears like the illusion. Kalpitam means imagination or illusion of Rajju Sarpavat, a snake in the rope. This Rajju Sarpanyaya we have heard. In this world, everything appears as an illusion, just like in the dark, you take a rope for a snake and get scared. When you're walking in the dark, many of us have gone through that. I'm sure we have gone, everybody would have gone through this experience once in their life. They're walking and there is a rope lying on the way. And you think it's a snake and you get scared first. First reaction is fear. Then the next reaction is some analysis. Is it really a snake? Then why it is not moving? Then you throw some light and then you realize, oh, it's a rope. The moment you realize it's rope, all that imaginary fear is disappeared. Can you imagine you actually experienced the fear out of something that was not worth experiencing a fear for? Can you imagine that mind which misunderstood the rope as snake and got scared, and really your BP went up, your body shivered and sweat started coming out. So many things happen as if it was a real snake. But the moment you realize it is not a snake, all things disappeared. That moment you become Sukhi Bhava. Vita Shoka Sukhi Bhava. Your fear disappeared and you became happy. But my question to you is, was that fear necessary in the first place? It wasn't. If you had known it is just a rope and not a snake, you would have never got scared at all in the first place. You wouldn't have gone through all those trauma and emotions and fear in the first place. Because you thought it was a snake, which it wasn't, you got into that trouble. Likewise, because you think you are the body and mind and not the Atman, you get into all the trouble. That is the logic. If you think you are the Atman, you are the self, you are the consciousness, then you know it is a rope and not a snake. But a world appears like a snake in the rope. But there is no real snake there. There is only a rope. There is no real world there. There is only self. There is no real wave or the water. There is only wave or the ocean. There is only water there. That is the idea. So he is trying to explain it through this analogy. It's a very used analogy in Vedanta. Rajju Sarpa Nyaya it is called. This idea or example of seeing a snake in the rope where there is none. Imagine the plight of a fellow who doesn't believe that it was a rope only, there was no snake. Maha ignorance, who goes there and says, I have seen there is a snake there. So his friend says, where is the snake? Or you call our snake catchers are there. Our ashram security guards are very good at catching snakes. I've given the instruction, no killing the snakes, just capturing and leaving them far away. So they do that. So he goes and catches hold of that security or our Atma or whoever and says, can you please catch that snake? He says, which snake? They are there in front. He says, that one. Doesn't look like a snake to me. No, it is a snake. Then he goes, okay, let's go closer. No, don't go close, it will bite you. No, let us go close. Then they throw light and say, hey, this is a rope, not a snake. He says, no, I just saw there was a snake. He says, no, what you saw was this rope only. You thought it's a snake. No, it is a real snake I saw. It must have gone towards the hostel. Let us search. What will that snake catcher tell you? Don't waste my time. There was no snake in the first place. No, there was a snake. I saw. I can't be wrong. My eyes can't be wrong. I did see the snake and I'm sure it has gone towards the hostel. And he creates a ruckus in the hostel saying a snake has entered our hostel. What should you do with such a person, you tell me? What will you call such a person? A fool? Ignorant? Ajnani? That's what Ashtavakra is calling all of us. Oh fools, you are not the body. It appears that you are the body, you are the Atman only. You are not the mind. It appears you are the mind, you are the Atman only. Now you are running behind this body and mind and enjoying it, thinking that you are really enjoying something, but nothing is being enjoyed. Establish in the truth that you are the Atman and all the emotions will disappear. See, in snake's case, it is that of fear. But suppose somebody sees something shining on the street and takes it for a gold chain or something, only to find out that it's a piece of a shiny paper. What is the plight of that person? Disappointed. I thought I got hold of I got nice gold chain, but it turns out to be a piece of shiny paper. But and you are disappointed because you mistook one for the other. Though both ways, fear, which is negative emotion, or positive emotion, can get created out of an illusion. No? Both ways it can get created. It's not just negative alone. Positive emotions also can be illusory. So the joy that you experience of the body and the mind, that also could be illusory. So it's not only one side. Both sides is illusory. That's what Ashtavakra is saying. Seeing the snake in the rope, we take it as a negative example, but seeing a gold chain in a piece of shiny paper can be also a positive example, but both ultimately lead to an illusory experience which is not real. This is what Ashtavakra is trying to establish, that here the whole world appears like the snake appears in the rope where there is none. And then know that this is an imaginary snake, and what will happen to you? Ananda Paramanandaha. You ultimate experience the ultimate joy. Because no fear, no negativity. So enjoy, full of supreme bliss you become, Ananda Paramananda. You become so happy because, there was no snake. My God, I thought there was a snake, I got scared. There's no like that. There was no body and mind in the first place. I was so attached to my body and mind, I thought that is all it is. But you really have redeemed me because you realize I'm beyond this. If my body is happy, it doesn't mean I'm happy. If my body is sad, it doesn't mean I'm sad. I am beyond this to a state of Ananda. Ananda is a beautiful word. See, it doesn't exist in other cultures. Ananda is beyond Nanda and Ananda. Nanda means joy. Ananda means sorrow. Ananda means beyond the joys and sorrows. Like Shanti means peace. Ashanti means no peace. Prashanti means beyond both. It's a state where both don't matter to you anymore. You will say, that is not a nice state. Only happy state is what I want. But I am saying this is beyond happiness. It's a state where you don't need to worry whether you are going to be happy or not going to be happy. It's that kind of a state of a permanent joy. Many people, that day somebody was asking, so when you reach that state, so you're full of joy because all these wrong depictions are there. One sage will be sitting with eyes rolled up and smile on his face and fully in bliss. This is the picture of Jnani, right? Most of the places we will see. But I told, no, it's not like that. So somebody felt scandalized. He said, how can you say this? This is what it is. At the end of it, your eyes should roll up, your hands should go up, your smile should stretch on your face, and you should express that supreme bliss. I said, no, it doesn't happen like that. Who said it happens like that? Yeah, in lower states of joys, this happens. See, we have physical joy, bodily pleasures are there. Then we have mental pleasures, Then we have pleasures which are coming from certain elevated states of our mind. Samadhi is not a state of Atman. Atman is free of all the attributes. Samadhi is also a state of mind. It's an elevated state of mind. See, when mind is associated with body, some pleasures of the body are the pleasures of the mind, like good food and things like that, sensory pleasures. But without engaging the body in anything, also mind can be happy. Because somebody praised you. No, you are happy all day. That way mind also can be. But mind can also reach elevated states of joy which are even better than just somebody praising you or you eating something nice. And those states are also mentioned in our Yoga Sutras. I'm not getting into that side of things, the yoga part of or siddhis part of thing, but mind is capable of many achievements. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, you will see a mind, when you practice, you can enter another person's body. Parakaya Pravesha is the power of the mind. So also you can levitate, you can travel on distances, or you can even walk on water, means you can make yourself so light. There are so many siddhis are there. Patanjali Yoga Sutra is full of that, saying where should you meditate on so that you develop this siddhi. And all that. So people have practiced those also and experience altered state of consciousness, I may say, without using any substance or without using any such, things which called delirium and things like that. With that also people experience. So they think that joy which is so intense, it is the ultimate supreme joy. You may experience such joy as your mind gets purer and purer and attains higher states of its existence. But it is like Nandi Hills. You are climbing the hill. The best view is from top. But as you climb the hill, on the way also, if you look around, the views get better. Better than what was at the foothills, right? So you start feeling, oh, what a beautiful sight, what a beautiful sight. But I would say, wait, there is more. Climb up. And so we climb, and finally we reach a state where the view is the best, 360-degree view. Likewise, mind, when it is practicing certain spiritual austerities and purifies itself and gets more and more calm, your quality of joy starts going up. But the ultimate supreme state is this, Paramananda, which is not affected at all by any outcomes or incidents. The other joy that we experience is based on certain efforts. What is the effort? That your mind has got purer and lighter and things like that. So you experience that states of consciousness. But ultimately on top, there is a state of absolute peace, absolute equanimity. And I can't call it whether it is joyful or not joyful. So I was telling this to somebody, that rishis are very clever because they don't know how to explain to us, how to motivate us and inspire us to attain that state which cannot be described in words. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa. That state cannot be described in words. That state cannot be understood by the ways of the mind. Aprapya manasa. It cannot be understood by the mind. So how to explain? The rishis have that problem. Because in Keto Upanishad also it says, Namad vidmo na vijanimo kim yathetad anushishyat. I do not know how to explain to you, how to teach you about it, says the Rishi, is helplessness to the disciple. Because you have to experience it to know what it is. See, I can't teach you about sweet without putting a piece of sweet on your tongue. How much ever I explain about the sweet, you cannot understand. I can tell it is not salty, it is not spicy, it is not tangy, it is not this, it is not that. But what is sweet is something you have to experience for yourself. So our rishis had this problem, they could not explain. But then what they said, yesterday I told you, we have that Nyaya, Arundhati, Vashishta Nyaya, pointers. So like a child is there who has never seen a mountain, what can you do? You can show a piece of stone and tell mountain is like 1 million times bigger than this. If somebody has not seen the ocean, you can say, take a bucket of water. If you have 1 million buckets here, that would be like an ocean. But still it won't do justice, but it will give some kind of reference points to the child who has never been to the ocean or to the mountains. Some basic idea. So that is why our rishis said, oh, it is ananda, it is a supreme state of joy. Because joy is something we understand. When we eat good food, we have some joy. A million times of that joy is equal to that supreme state. They have explained, but that is not how it works. Even Ananda Mimamsa in Taittiriya Upanishad talks about it, right? It says if human joy is 1 unit, then the first level of joy of Manushya Gandharvas, the first level of deities, is 100 times the human joy unit. Then Deva Gandharvas are 100 times of Manushya Gandharvas. Like that, Deva Pitra Chirloka Lokanam is 100 times the Deva Gandharvas. Like that, it goes and 10 to the power 20 times of Manushya's joy is equal to Brahmananda, it says. So somebody asked me, is it really this mathematics is correct? I said, this is not, this is poetry. It is just trying to tell. When you say your face is moon, your face is not really the moon. It is a way to say it. It is to say, like that our rishis poetry, they explain like this, you know what, how that state of joy will be? 110 to the power 20 times the joy of a human. And what is the human joy is also says, Yuva syad sadhu yuva dhyayakaha ashishto balishto dridishtaha tasyayam prithvim sarvam vittasya purna syad. 1 unit of human joy is how much, as per our scripture it says, you should be young forever, yuva. Sadhu, you should be good-hearted person. Adhyayakaha, you should be learned one, not a fool, not a dumb fellow. Tasyayam prithvim sarva, you should own the entire earth. Vittasya purna syad, and all the wealth on the earth. Ashishto, balishto, dridishta, you should be a very ambitious fellow, very persevering type. Balishta, you should be very strong, capable of pursuing your goals. And dridishta, very determined to do it. If all this is put together, then it is equal to 1 unit of human joy. And 10 to the power 20 times of this is equal to the divine joy, it says. But Ashtavakra says, just doing this, getting rid of the illusion that there was a snake when there was none, it means getting rid of the idea that you are just body and mind itself can give you that joy. You don't have to go through the circus of owning the earth and all the wealth, and that's not required. So when they asked me, in fact, it was a discussion with Tigrid, and he caught this point, and he was telling me in Clarksdale when I met him, demystified this idea, and he laughed, saying that you said that rishis are very clever. They just mentioned it that once you attain that state, you will be always blissful. But you told that no, it is just a way of saying. The idea is that there is neither joy nor sorrow. That is the state it is. In deep sleep, what happens to us when you are in deep sleep? Is there any joy or sorrow? Nothing happens there. You wake up and you feel relaxed, refreshed, so you feel joyful. But while in the deep sleep state, you didn't know any joy and sorrow. After waking up only, there was an idea of joy or sorrow. So it's something like that. It is very relaxing, refreshing, very calming, very soothing, but you are awake. You are not asleep. So it is the closest I can tell you how it is. So does it mean in deep sleep when you are having relaxation, you are smiling while sleeping? Or your eyes are all rolled up and hands are going up? No. You just exist as the inside of the stone. Absolutely peaceful. There is no vikaras, there is no fluctuations, there is nothing in there. That is the state which our rishis are talking about. So this Paramananda that he talks about is that state. That is beyond joys and sorrows. Because if there is a joy, there has to be a sorrow. If there is a sorrow, then there will be joy again. It is a duality that exists. That is a state of non-duality. The moment I describe something as positive, I am inadvertently acknowledging there has to be a negative to it. When I say something is hot, I am acknowledging that it is also something called cold that exists. So if I say in that supreme state joy exists, I am in a way saying that there is a possibility of sadness also to exist. But I am saying none of these exist because this is an Advaitic state. There is nothing like this. There is no two. There is no duality. So what is that state? Is it worth even trying for? Is it worth even working so hard for? Little joys I can easily experience. Let me be happy with that. Then you are happy with the foothills. You never want to climb the peak. Or you are happy, then it's your standard. One day I was in Singapore doing satsang. I think some irate devotee lady was there. She started, I was talking about Ananda, and then she simply wanted to, some of those Shishyas are there, no, some are, I told Adamadikaris are there who don't understand anything, Madhyamadikaris there who understand half, and Uttamadikari who understand everything. But there is an Adamadhamadikaris are there, the lowest, who come to simply trouble the Guru. They just don't want to learn anything, they just want to pull Guru's legs. So in the satsanga, she started questioning. She's saying, what if I'm not interested in the joy? What if I'm already happy? I'm happy with my life. I have no problem. I'm earning well. I'm having a good family. I have a car, a home, and all the comforts. I don't need that divine joy, she said. Simply for the heck of, for the sake of troubling me. I said, good. If you don't need the joy, that's good. You can leave the satsang. You don't need to be here. This is for those fools who are still not understood your joy. They're still striving for more. Simply troubling me like that. So those people who say, no, you're happy with our joy, whatever you're experiencing, acha khana pina, sona marna, I'm happy. I said, don't be happy, don't come to me. You are at least 1 billion births away from Ashtavakra Gita. Don't even come nearby. But if you're really believing that this, what Ashtavakra says is true, there is a state like that. What is that state like? It is actually a state of permanent peace. There are no vikaras there. There is no emotions there. So I can't categorize it as joy or not joy or higher joy or lower joy multiplied by these many times, divided by that many times. It doesn't work like that. It is simply a state of a calm, peaceful existence where there are no fluctuations. That is why the idea is beautiful. Shila antarivastitihi, like the inside of the stone, but jadya nidra vinurmukta, free from lethargy and sleep. So if you are in a deep sleep and you are still awake, what would it be like? You have to only imagine, because we can't be that way. But if you're in a deep sleep state, and yet you're aware that you are in deep sleep state, which never happens because our mind shuts off there, then how it would be, that must be the state like which you can be even while walking, you are like that. Even you're waking and walking, you're doing everything, you're still like that in the deep state of absolute peace. And then still you're functioning and engaging in everything. And you're watching everything as a witness. Think how the water must be inside the ocean. How water must be feeling in the ocean. Oh, now a wave is coming, wave is going. But it is only a witness to all the waves. Right? It appears to have become a wave now. But then next moment it's gone. So that state is like that. So Tiger had caught that and said, it's nicely you put it that it's neither happy nor joy. It is just a way to motivate us. Because unless we have some reference, some standard, we cannot even imagine what it is to be. So we will give these kind of, cleverly these standards were given by the rishis. But that ananda is beyond both. So he says, sa bodhas tvam sukham chara. Knowing that ananda which comes from the realization of the truth that you are not the body or the mind, but you are the self, become happy and sukham chara. Move around. Chara means behave or move. You don't have to sit in one place, meditate and feel that joy. No, you can move around, be yourself and still be full of joy. Still be full of bliss, still be absolute equanimity with the absolute peace. Nothing perturbs you. So it's like really in the middle of the battlefield, yet you are not affected by anything that is happening. And this state happens to us every now and then. Why I am telling you that? Sometimes we are like, you are in this place also. A lot of you are listening to my lecture. Somebody's mind is switching off here and there. In the middle of the crowded market also, your mind can take off and go off somewhere, right? And you don't hear the noises in the market anymore. Because your mind has got cut off from the situation. So you don't hear, even though your ears are open, you don't hear a sound because your mind has got cut off. So you can be absolutely a different person in between a crowded market also if your mind is away. Likewise, if your mind is established in the soul, that all your awareness is what you are now completely established in, the noise of the body and the mind won't affect you. You know there is noise, but it doesn't affect you. That is the idea of the self. So they keep working. That is why Brahmanishta Varishtaha, who are the best of the Brahmagyanis, who are absolutely active. Atma Krida, Atmarati Kriyavan, it says. They are enjoying, reveling in themselves. Even if they open the eyes, they look around, they are still cut off from everything, as if insulated from all the sound and smells and flavors and the noises, as if they are just insulated. And also absolutely active. It doesn't mean that they go and sit off in one place because they don't want to lose the peace. There's nothing like losing the peace for them. It's become a part of their nature. You can't lose it anymore. Right? When people want to practice something, they say, I want a quiet corner, then only I can practice. Somebody wants to write something, no, I want a peaceful day, I don't want anybody else, then I will write something. Those are preconditions for those initial days. But once somebody is a good singer, he has practiced and practiced, become a good singer, he will sing everywhere. You're walking on the road, you'll be singing. You don't need all this. In the middle of noise also, you'll be humming a tune. In the middle of a crowded bus also, you'll be singing to yourself. You don't need all that paraphernalia. Likewise, this practice of being established in awareness will take you to that final stage where it becomes a nature. Not even second nature, your first nature. So that you don't have to worry about all these other things. You will still continue to behave and do everything that is needed to be done, but you will not be affected by any of it. That is the beauty of it. Something like anesthesia, if I can give the example, medical terminology. Give the anesthesia and then cut the limb. Limb is getting cut, blood is flowing, doctor is doing the surgery. You are hardly affected by any of these things. That day I saw one surgery, somebody's brain surgery was being done, he was playing a violin while the surgery is being done. His skull has been opened and they're doing something with the brain and this fellow is playing a violin. How did it happen? Suppose they had not given the anesthesia and cut off his skull and started the surgery. You think he would have played violin that time? He would have been yelling some ragas. But how did he manage to do that? The anesthesia did not allow him to feel that his skull has been cut open and that some surgery is going on. He didn't feel anything. Something like that. Something like that. You're active, engaged, but you don't feel a thing. You don't feel a thing. You're absolutely cut off from it. That state, does it even exist? Yes, it does exist. And you don't need any physical anesthesia or any drugs for that. Simply it is a state of existence. Your whole attention shifts to that consciousness. You get established there and everything else happens around you. And you don't get affected by it. This is the idea of what Ashtavakra is saying, that knowing that becomes sukhi and chara. Go around, go about doing whatever you need to do. Live your life. And don't worry, nothing will touch you, nothing will touch you. That is the beauty of our scriptures, which say that such a state is possible and people have experienced it. It is not that people have not experienced it. So they are telling from their truth. The next sloka I'll take it up, 1.11, that is 11th. So this also goes in the same mode of lecture. It's a very simple sloka, it's very sweet. It says, Muktabhimani mukto hi baddho baddhabhimanyapi kim vadanti he satyayam yamati sagatir bhavet. Which means the one who believes he or she is free becomes free. The one who thinks he or she is bound will become bound. What is said, it is true that as you think, so you become. That's the meaning of the shloka. The essence is, as you think, so you are. Now you will say, what you are meaning? I am feeling bound by the body or mind or whatever it is. And you think I'll just believe that I am not bound and I'll become free. I said, if you really, really, truly believe in it, and you live that belief in thought, word and action, arjavam, you will experience that. But we don't believe it fully. Partial belief is not there. I said spirituality is binary. Either it is or it is not. So if you believe means it's really a belief. You're thoroughly convinced and thoroughly you are absolutely believing that, then you will experience that detachment from body and mind. So he says it is true, as you think, so you are. So you become Muktabhimani. The one who believes that he is free is free. The one who believes he is bound is bound. And what is said is true, that as you think, so you become. This is the meaning of this sloka. So he's telling Janaka at the end of these 10 shlokas, oh Janaka, I have said all these things to you, but unless you believe in it completely, there is no way you will experience any of it. You listen to it and go back and then don't believe in it. Then you get back into your old ways, then nothing is going to happen because you don't believe in it fully. Like the sheep and the cub, lion cub. He didn't believe that he is a lion cub. So he behaved like a sheep. But once he believed, he became a lion. The idea is he was always a lion. Similarly, we are always free. Mukta evasi sarvada, but we feel we are bound. But we believe that we are free, then we become free. One nice story is there. There was a washerman with a donkey. So in a village, he would take the donkey to the river, carrying all the dirty clothes of the village people, and then he will wash all the clothes in the river and then bring back everything in the evening. So one day when he left for the river carrying all the dirty clothes of the villagers on his donkey's back and reached the river, he realized that he didn't bring the rope with which he has to tie the donkey. Now he thought, if I go back all the way to get the rope, it will be late and I have to wash the clothes. But if I don't tie this donkey, if he runs away, then again I will be in trouble. What should I do? He was wondering. Just then a wise man was passing by. The wise man asked, what happened? Why are you looking so disturbed? He said, my problem is this, that I didn't bring the rope to tie the donkey. How can I now go back to village? It's no time is there. He says, don't worry about these donkeys, I know what they are. Just do one thing, you behave as if you're tying a rope around the donkey and tethering it to one piece of stone. Just behave. He said, what do you mean by behave? He said, just do as I say. So he behaved as if he's tying the rope around donkey's neck and then tying it to a piece of stone, and as if the donkey is now tied. So things done. The donkey stood there, did not move an inch. And he stood there for the whole day. And man finished washing all the clothes and folding it all and packing it all, and then he put all the bundles on this donkey's back and told donkey, let's go to the village. But donkey is not moving. He's standing there. So then again he is disturbed because have you ever dealt with a donkey? Simply I don't call people donkey. They're so stubborn. They just don't move, they don't budge, do what you want. Donkeys are like very stubborn animals. So now he's not able to take the donkey back. It's getting dark, so he's worried. So the same wise man is returning on his way back to the village. He says, what is the problem now? He says, you told in the morning I tied the donkey and did all this and the donkey is not going home. He said, yeah, you tied in the morning. Did you untie the donkey now? He said, what do you mean by untying? There was never a rope. That you know, but the donkey does not know. So you act as if you are untying the donkey. So he acted as if untying the donkey, and then donkey started moving. This is our plight. Basically, Ashtavakra is saying this is your plight. You think you are tied down to this body, mind, samsara, and all the ideas of I, me, mine. None of this is true because there is no tying you at all in the first place. You have imagined it. You have imagined it, and so you are suffering with it. If you believe in it that you are not tied and try a little moving around, you will move because there was never a rope in the first place. So, what is the guru doing exactly now? You can imagine. He's untying the rope around you which never exists and telling, now you are free, let's move. And you believe it, yes, let's move. But the truth is that even without me telling you you were free, you could have moved around. But you didn't because you didn't believe. That is the idea of belief in our scriptures. Guru says, you are free, move, try at least. Once you walk 2 steps, you know, yeah, really I am free. Actually, I was never tied. But we don't want to move because we somehow strongly believe, no, we are tied. What are you saying? I can't move. So you never move. You get stuck there only, like the donkey. So the idea of mukti and baddha, we are all born baddha jivis, says Adi Shankara. But we can become buddha jivis. Baddha jivis means bound. Buddha jivis means aware, so they are free. Once you are aware, you are free. Once you are aware that you are not tied, you are free. You discover that you are never tied. Suddenly there is so much of joy. Oh, I imagine myself to be tied down, so I was suffering sitting here all the time. But I was never tied down, I was never bound in the first place. But it took somebody else to tell me that you were never bound. And then for me to believe that I am never bound, then only things started changing for me. So that is what gurus are doing. They are saying your soul is never bound. The body mind is just an illusion which makes you feel you are bound. Don't give it too much of importance. The beginning of this path is don't give too much importance to your body and mind. Don't pamper it too much. Already you will feel the freedom. When you feel so much of social pressure, I see, what will others think, what will others say, what will others do, what will they, so much of mental pressure. Nobody is bothered, they are there in their own world. But you have imagined that they will say something because you did something. Nobody has time for you, everybody is busy in their lives. Even if they have some time, 2 minutes, they will say and then forget, they'll move on in their life. You sit with all those ideas and suffer. How many people I have seen like that? They simply suffer. It was not necessary in the first place. So this is the idea. Believe that you are free. Think that this body and mind which you think you are is like imagining a snake in the rope. But you are truly the rope, not the snake. You are truly the Atman and not just the body and the mind. Knowing this, you will go beyond these dualities of joys and sorrows, and ultimately you will establish yourself in a state of absolute peace and equanimity, from where there is no return. Yad gatvana nivattante taddhamam paramam mama, Krishna says. That my abode is that where once you reach, you never return. It means once you become that, it's like a permanent transformation. You cannot revert back to this. So what happened in my case? I experienced these bouts of joy, which was a higher state of course, consciousness, which I experienced very spontaneously, easily. So initially I was very attracted by that. So I will go for meditation because I will experience that altered or higher states of consciousness. I feel very good, very relaxed. But then one day Bhagavan said, this is all still children's things. This is not real. But when you start moving towards the mountain peak, yes, some nice experiences you have. You see the world differently from it was. But ultimately you have to reach the top peak. That gradually. And once you reach there, you're not affected by anything. See, yeah, for temporarily, if you're sitting in a boat will rock, you also will rock with the boat. But you don't get scared because you know how to swim. Likewise, you know your strength. So you're not bothered about these small things. It may appear. See, he acts as per the need of the drama. But he's not become the character. He knows he is he and character is character. But in the drama, if the character demands that he should now be rude or be cruel or be valorous or be fearful, the actor, a good actor will act very well. Maybe for a moment even that emotion stays on him because he's so got involved with the character. But it just for a few seconds. And then you drop the costume, you're free. But even without the costume, were you not free all the time? With the costume also. You were you only, right? For a moment you behaved like that, you felt you are bound by the costume. It was necessary. But then you can drop the costume anytime. And even if you don't drop the costume, you can simply withdraw the mind into who you are and be free even while wearing the costume. So that is as simple as that. You are wearing the costumes of mothers, fathers, uncles, sisters, brothers, students, teachers, staff, volunteers, devotees, and so on. But deep down, you are the self. And once you establish in there, it doesn't matter whether you're wearing a costume or not wearing the costume. I saw some funny when I was traveling somewhere in Dakshin Kannada. These Yakshagana artists are there, no? They're all dressed up. So once they sit on they're on the stage, they behave like all those yakshas. And then I saw two of them having coffee in the shop next door. It was so funny because just now they're like, they must have, I didn't see the performance, but I saw these yaksha attire people having coffee. So I felt it looks so funny because the yaksha fellow is aware that he's not a yaksha. He is the whatever behind that, whoever that person is, So that is what I am saying. The self, the one who is established in self, whether he's drinking coffee or dancing on the stage, he knows who he is. Even though the costume is on and others think that he is some yaksha, he knows he is not that. That is the freedom. That is the freedom that he is talking about. Others think that you are bound, you are not bound. So people may think I am bound, but I am not bound. I always ask this question every day. If all these things I have to stop in today, am I okay with it? I am saying, I am okay with it. No, what about the future of all these people? It was not my problem in the first place. It's God's design. As per God's design, things are happening. Why should I take unnecessary responsibility? But then you cannot take credit for it also and feel good. Both do not exist in that state. You can't shun away from responsibility saying none of my problem. But when good things happen, you can't feel happy, oh, I got the credit for all this. Both ways it doesn't work. Both ways you give it to the self and leave it at that. So that way you are free because you are not bound by either positive or negative. Whether you are tied up with a iron chain or a gold chain, you are still tied up, right? Whether it's a positive emotion or a negative emotion, still it's an emotion that binds you. That state is a state where there is no emotions. It doesn't mean that you are cold and rude and harsh and insensitive and emotionless. No, you do what is needed for others. When people come, you show compassion, empathy, kindness. That's a part of your role. But does it disturb you from within and you get all shaken up? No. Even for a moment, if it is yes, because you're too involved in the character. But quickly you can withdraw and re-establish yourself in that peaceful state. That benefit comes to you. That is why he said only such jnanis can run institutions or kingdoms or countries. If the country is finally in the hands of ajnanis, imagine what they'll do. They are emotional people. All the people around are emotional. They'll create chaos. That's what happened. When Hitler takes over a country, what does he do? Or Alexander becomes ambitious, what does he do? Unfortunately, everybody is going to suffer. Why? Because ajnanis have elected ajnanis. If they were jnanis, they would have elected a jnani. But so many ajnanis are there in the society, what can we do? Majority are ajnanis, so democracy. As per democracy, the ajnani becomes the ruler and the jnanis suffer. So if there are more jnanis, then you will select the right leader who is also jnani, then the whole institution and country and world will progress. That is the idea.